The notice requirements provided in the Open Publics Meeting Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given to the new schedule and in the new schedule of meetings of the Spotswood Borough Council on December 20th, 2018. The new schedule was transmitted to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel. It was filed with the clerk of the Borough of Spotswood and posted in the municipal building located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey.
You want me to do, you want to salute the flag first, or you want me to do attendance?
We could do salute the flag first. I'd like to, we're going to have a moment of silence tonight for a Jamie R. Riley, who was killed. He was a member of the military, and he's the nephew of Sherry Phillips, our tax collector. So for a moment of silence, I'd like to remember him, please.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Ritchie?
Here.
Councilman Rivero?
Here.
Councilman Malillo?
Here.
Councilman Kramer?
Here.
Council President Spacuzzo?
Here.
Mayor Sealy?
Here.
We have minutes from January 23rd, 2019, the caucus minutes.
Make a motion to approve the caucus minutes.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Council President Spacuzzo?
Yes.
We have regular minutes from January 23rd, 2019.
Make a motion to remove those minutes.
Second.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Council President Spacuzzo?
Yes. At this time, we have a guest speaker, Mr. Fred Brody from Cross River Fiber. I'd like to speak to us about installing some fiber lines on the poles.
Yes. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you individually. The clerk was so nice to introduce me. And Senator, it's good to see you, sir. Got some star power here. So, yeah, Cross River Fiber is a utility company as authorized by the BPU, Board of Public Utilities. And the company is in the process of building out what's called a dark fiber network, which is dark fiber as opposed to lit fiber. So the dark fiber connects their clients that manage the service, that puts the service on the fiber. When you purchase a lit service, you know, from Verizon or Comcast or Cablevision, what have you, that's a lit service. So the more you use, the more you pay. This Cross River owns and operates and maintains the dark fiber, and their clients put the service on it themselves. So they connect companies like hospital systems, data centers, banks, trading, stock exchanges, and such. So the company is guided by both state and federal law. And the federal law allows for this competition in this telecommunications space. So we're required to go to a municipality because even though this fiber is connected to existing telephone pole infrastructure, the telephone poles are owned by either Verizon or the JCP&L, maybe this is PSE&G franchise, but they're owned by the utility companies. And so even though the company, Cross River, pays to operate, to occupy space on those poles, it's in the public right-of-way in the municipality. So that's why the agreement is needed to be in place. So then the route can be engineered, approved by the telephone pole owner, engineers, by your engineers, attorney, and all. And then once they finally figure all of that out and the network goes up, then we also pay for the police safety detail. So it's to not cost the community anything. So you pay for the engineer, attorney, and the police safety detail. And that's basically it. I provided the information through Dawn. So I guess that's basically it. Do you have any questions?
Anyone have any questions? Does your company ever intend to put anything other than the cable on the poles, antennas or anything?
No,
No.
it's just the fiber itself. The only other piece of equipment that you might see would just be a connector box, that's like a splicing box. But that's it. No, this isn't small cell or the antennas or whatever you call that. No, this is just a dark fiber network.
So it's just a cable?
Just the cable, correct.
Higher they put up on the pole.
They're in.
Oh, every pole? How many, every pole?
No. It's just going to be once they can figure out point A and point B, then they just connect. It's just one line once they figure that out. But it's in the telecommunications space. So when, the very top wires are power, and then below that is the telecommunications space. And that's where the wire goes.
Somebody takes out the pole, who comes out to repair your stuff?
The company, yeah, they're required to. They have to provide what they call 5 nines of service. So they have to be up and operating within 24 hours. Of course, if there is, a major emergency or a major takedown of a pole, the priority is for the power to come back first. So the companies that deal with the power cables are in there first, and then the telecom space, then the telecom people. And then if there's any road widening that's ever done, they're responsible for repositioning the fiber there too.
If I heard you correctly, where will you start at? Where will you start at?
I honestly don't know. I know that there are other towns that were in the process of or that we have already in the area, like Old Bridge and South River and Sayreville and Jamesburg and Englishtown and Monroe. So again, depending on the type of customers that they attract, like I said, hospital systems, radiology departments, data centers, and all, they figure out where those commercial businesses are, and then that's when they.
The heavy area, is that what you mean? Like the heavy area? In other words, the heavy area where the activity is?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, the heavy area where their clients are.
Yeah.
So again, if it's a hospital or a data center, they would plot that out and figure out the most direct route, and then engineer it that way.
Let's see what happens.
This is kind of like the replacement for like the old T1 type lines that used to go into these businesses?
T1. Yeah, that's like telephone. Yeah. No, this is data. Yeah, this is data. There's no telephony on it.
The T1s were data lines.
Oh, okay.
That's all they used to be.
I didn't. I forgot that. I used to know that.
So this is just going to be basically like a private network.
Correct. Yeah. Private. Yeah. For the use of their clients. Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So in other words, then, it'll be in one section.
It's just going to be whatever route they decide to come
Yeah,
through
yeah.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be all over. That's
So,
right.
yeah, it's going to be in one spot. Like,
Right. It's going to be one route. Yes, sir.
Well, let's see.
All right, Mr. Brody, thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Consider your proposal.
Okay. Very
Back
good.
to you.
Thank you.
Consideration, we'll see what goes on,
Okay. You got it. Thank you. Yeah. Dawn has my card if you need to reach.
I actually have a quick question.
Oh, I'm sorry,
If
go
I could add to it. You've indicated that other towns have consented to the agreement.
Yes.
Do you give them revenue for rental of the space?
Not allowed to.
Right away in any towns?
Not allowed to.
Okay.
No, that's part of the rules that, again, we could only reimburse
So it's
actual.
not like Verizon and Comcast where they send over franchise fees to the
Right.
towns?
Those are exclusive franchise agreements, where ours is in the non-exclusive franchise arena or space.
Got it.
But no, that's a good question. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, yes, you know how to reach me.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, I'll read the excerpt from the ordinance. As you read before, the ordinance 2019-01 was posted in the Spotswood Municipal Building on January 24, 2019, and advertised in full in the Home News Tribune, January 29, 2019. A public hearing was set for February 4, 2019. An ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits to establish a cap, NJSA 40A:4-45.14 in the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey. You have to open it to the public.
Make a motion, we open to the public on this ordinance.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone have any
Anyone from the
questions?
public have any questions on this ordinance?
Make a motion to close it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now you have to adopt.
Yes. Yep. I'd like to move the ordinance be adopted on second and final reading and published according to law.
Second.
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Council President Spacuzzo.
Yes.
We have resolutions under consent agenda. They're spread out on the table. Council President, council members, I'd like to take a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda. Resolutions 2019-37 through 2019-40.
40 or 41?
41?
41 has got to be read. It's authorizing.
Oh, you're doing it separate.
Make a motion to accept the resolutions 2019-37 to 2019-40.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we have resolution authorizing. It's Resolution 2019-41. Whereas the Borough of Spotswood has a need to acquire the services of an attorney for services rendered in connection with Labor Council, whereas there exists a need for specialized legal services in connection with representing employers in the Borough of Spotswood, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, and whereas such specialized legal services can be provided only by a recognized labor and employment counsel to clients. Services regularly include collective bargaining, labor litigation, and employment litigation covering the discrimination, wrongful determination, sexual harassment, disability, whistleblower, and contract claims under both federal and state laws. Whereas the Cleary Giacobbe submitted a proposal for this position, and they were opened on January 23rd. They were reviewed by the administrator and Mayor Sealy. Upon review of the proposal, the Labor Council for the issuance of employment counsel, Cleary Giacobbe, was chosen for the Borough of Spotswood's Labor Council. The Chief Financial Officer has confirmed availability of funds for this award, whereas the anticipated term of this contract is 1 year. Now therefore be it resolved, the Borough Council of the Borough of Spotswood in the County of Middlesex, that the advice and consent of council is hereby given so as to enable Cleary Giacobbe to serve as Labor Counsel at the terms of compensation set forth in a contract, and that the mayor be authorized to execute said contract with Cleary Giacobbe, setting forth the terms of compensation.
I make a motion, accept the resolution.
Second?
Councilman Ritchie?
Yes.
Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Malillo?
Yes.
Councilman Kramer?
Yes.
Council President Spacuzzo.
Yes.
So Resolution 2019-41 has been passed. We have a proclamation.
Okay.
The record.
Go Red for Women. American Heart Association, Learn and Live. Whereas diseases of the heart are the nation's leading cause of death, and stroke is the fourth leading cause of death. Whereas cardiovascular disease claims the lives of nearly 420,000 American women each year, approximately 1 death per minute. Whereas nearly as many women die of heart disease, stroke, and all other cardiovascular disease than the next 4 leading causes of death combined, including all cancers. Whereas February is designated as American Heart Month, and February 2nd, 2019 will mark the 16th anniversary celebration of National Wear Red Day for Women. Whereas Go Red for Women is an American Heart Association's national movement and called to increase awareness about heart disease, the leading cause of death for women, and to inspire women to take charge of their heart health. Whereas making the right choices relating to proper nutrition, physical activity, and other healthy lifestyle choices are essential to living a heart-healthy life. And whereas by choosing to improve heart and stroke health, the American Heart Association Go Red for Women asks that across America, women go red and help save the lives from heart disease and stroke. Now therefore, I, Ed Seeley, Mayor of the Borough of Spotswood, on behalf of the governing body, in recognition of the importance of the ongoing fight against heart disease and stroke, do hereby proclaim February to be American Heart Month in Spotswood, New Jersey. We particularly urge all citizens to show their support for women and to fight against heart disease by increasing awareness, speaking up about heart disease, and empowering the women to reduce their risk of cardiovascular disease. We can save thousands of lives each year. Dated February 4th, 2019.
Go Red.
Very nice. At this time, I'll take any comments from the council members.
Got this, next month I'll have some.
All right, Larry?
I'm gonna make my rounds.
Ed?
I just want to thank the police and public works. A week ago last Friday, they decided to close Main Street down between DeVoe and Summerhill for patching work for all the blown lines they had out there so that the county could come in and do it the right way. The funeral home had a service that day, could have been a real disaster. I made a phone call between Public Works and the cops. They made sure anybody that was coming to the funeral home was able to get through. So I want to thank both of them.
Was that?
I have nothing.
I just want to inform the public that the accreditation evaluation team will be here at the municipal building in police headquarters on February 11th for their final inspections. And any resident that wishes to make any comments could actually call. I have the number here if anybody's interested, between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. if there's any comments that they'd like to make about the police department. And I just want to also remind everybody, excuse me, that the rec department is having their open house here in the courtroom on Saturday, February 9th, which is this Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 12. And that's all I have. Mr. Mayor?
I amazingly have got nothing.
For record,
Go on.
Nothing today.
Nothing?
make a motion to open to public.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. At this time, anyone from the public can come up, state your name and address.
Name and address, rank and serial number, everything else.
I think I'll try to be first every time. Hi, Dulcie Branco Rivera, Herbert Avenue. I have a couple questions. So, the labor attorney you just hired, how many RFPs came in for that?
4.
And the person that you hired, is the cost for that labor attorney higher or lower than the one we had previously?
Lower.
Okay. Second of all, off that topic, next topic. The yard sales that we have in town, where does that money go for the $5 that you pay?
General revenue for licensing.
Okay. So years ago, we started this townwide yard sale, in the town yard sale. And it's always annoyed me. Every other town does this, and they do it for free. They give one day for the residents to have their yard sales for free to encourage people to come into the town, provide business, bring people in for the local businesses, and to encourage people to, of course, to dispose of their additional waste. Except in Spotswood, we double the fee. Now, I get it that we use that money and you put it into some fund, for I think last year went to municipal lines or whoever. So I would suggest that I can't imagine that the $5 you get throughout the year is going to make a humongous impact on your budget. So why not take the $5 you get every week for these things, give that over to the funds, the police fund, the municipalized fund, whatever fund, and then provide the residents that one day for the free yard sale like every other town does, and promote Spotswood and get people into town to go to our local businesses and let people get rid of their junk. So I think you should all consider that. I think it would be a really nice thing to do because we pay for so many things in this town. One free yard sale day, I don't think would kill anybody. And my last question, Municipal Alliance. I know that a couple of months ago you voted to let them come out of the county alliance, and now they are off on their own. I believe, if I remember correctly, the town was providing a stipend that equaled the amount that the county gave. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
It was mostly supported by the grant. The town did subsidize some of it.
So is there any plans to subsidize it now?
It's being considered in the budget.
And how much would that consideration be?
I don't know. We have not had our budget workshops yet.
Okay. Before the Alliance, whenever they did a program, they would have to get that approved by the county first. So how is that going to work now? Are they going to be left to do whatever programs they deem fit, or does that have to go through you guys first? Like, how is that going to work?
I'm not familiar, no.
They have a whole committee, and they vote as a group what programs they're going to do. Typically, if they're going to do something out of the ordinary, the coordinator will come and speak to either myself or the chief of police to get approval to go forward with that program.
And who does the program fall under? Does it fall under you, or falls under the chief?
The budget line falls under administration, but the chief of police is heavily involved, as well as the SRO officer.
Okay, so the committee will decide what programs they're going to do.
Yes.
And will those programs, will they go towards education, or will they go back to the way they used to do it, where they just have activities for the residents and the kids, or will they all be educational?
I'm not sure yet. It's all new coming out of the county. Before, as you know, because you held the position also, the county dictated what programs we could and could not do.
Right, because they wanted everything to be educational, so.
Right.
And I know that this group does not want to. They want to go back to the way they used to do it, where they had the dance nights and all that. So I'm just curious, when they were requesting to come out of the county, was the reason to do that so that they could do those things again? Or are they going to continue to be an alliance where they advocate for drug awareness and do educational programs?
They would do both.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dulcie. Anyone else from the public?
Cheryl Bass. I did not attend the last town council meeting because there was a planning board meeting in East Brunswick which concerned the HD Summerhill, the buildings going up on Old Stage Road and on Summerhill Road, where the two combine. The meeting started at 8. From what I understand from other people, it concluded at around 11. I left at around 9:30. I'm Cinderella. I don't stay out on the town dancing all night. And the way the meeting progressed, the experts from HD Summerhill was speaking, but the public was not allowed to ask questions until later on. Tomorrow night, there's another meeting, and I'm planning on going to that meeting. How is Spotswood brought up to date on this development project? Because the mayor of East Brunswick was, by court order, not allowed to attend the planning board meeting. There was a little write-up in My Central New Jersey. So I'm not asking the mayor for his opinion, because if he gives his opinion, he may not be allowed to attend the meeting. But because we are so involved, this is in the intersection of where East Brunswick meets Spotswood, our town needs to be brought up to date. The distinguished senator used to be Spotswood's assemblyman. And, we have interest in this piece of property. The town is concerned, and they started SaveFrost.com because of that. How is Spotswood briefed on what goes on at these meetings so that you are up to date as to what is happening on this development project?
Shirley, obviously, we had the council meeting that night, so none of us were able to attend. Thank you for going. But I speak with Tom Barlow quite often about it, who's very entrenched in the project. I encourage residents to get out there and put their feelings on the table for everybody to hear. Not sure how much we can do to stop it. It's not in our town. But if we get out there, we might be able to slow things down and maybe change things up a little bit. But I do talk to Tom about the issue.
Oh, okay, very good. Because I didn't have any opportunity to speak at the meeting, this is Frost Woods, which is named for Robert Frost. At the end of Frost Avenue is Robert Frost Elementary School. And most of you are younger, but maybe Councilman Malillo remembers. At John F. Kennedy's inauguration, Robert Frost delivered his poem, The Gift Outright. The land was ours before we were the land's. She was our land more than 100 years before we were her people. And we are the taxpayers. We are the ones who pay the property tax. This is our community. We moved to this community because we liked the way the community's set up. It's single-family homes. You have some condos, but you don't have this overdevelopment. You don't have this apartment houses, 120 units they're putting in. The professional office building, I can assure you, does not have 120 toilets, but they're going to put in 120 units. We have water problems. We have water main breaks. We have, when ShopRite fixed up their flooding problem, it went downhill to where the condos are behind ShopRite. The roadways, the hospitals, the schools, the shopping, this is overdevelopment. This is overdevelopment.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and Robert Frost said it, the land was ours. We're paying the taxes, and we want to be heard in this matter.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, Cheryl, the problem is that the planning board gave approval to the entire project, and it's in East Brunswick. We can go there and voice our opinion. It's not going to matter much. What the attorneys have done there is they've pulled it back from the zoning board where they have a higher standard to meet. Now they're not going for variances anymore. If they were going in for bulk variances and things of that nature, there would still be public hearings to do that. They've pulled everything back. I think they're adding an extra building and cutting a floor off every building.
3 buildings.
It's still the
Three
same
buildings.
number.
What's that?
They're adding an extra 3 buildings.
Yeah, but they've made the buildings one
Shorter,
level,
yes.
one level shorter. They're still going to do the same 120 people. They're just doing it in a different fashion so that they don't need to go before the zoning board. It's sad to say, but East Brunswick is just sticking this on the corner of their property so they aggravate the least amount of people in their town. They could care less what's on the other side of the double
They're
yellow
going to do it
line.
anyway.
They're going to do it no matter what.
They're going to do it anyway.
We have Tom's gone there, we have other professionals that have attended these meetings. It's in East Brunswick. All we can do is, go on the record as opposing the project. We don't have any other control over this thing.
The way they, the way they presented the project, that Mac Cali, which owns the professional office building, had approached them, and that Mac Cali was liquidating some of their assets, this being one of the assets. That was how they approached the topic, that Mac Cali wanted to liquidate and approached them. They did not say that they went looking in the rest of East Brunswick at other properties, at other areas where they could put in buildings with 120 units. They did not say that they did not look over the real estate in East Brunswick, that this came to them as a investment item, and they made the deal with Mac Cali. The price was right. They didn't mention what price it was, but Mac Cali said, we want to liquidate. And they took it from there. They did not say that they explored the rest of East Brunswick, comparables, what else is being built, the prices on other pieces of land. They just said, we're building right here. And, yeah.
The East Brunswick residents to really go to these meetings and make their voices heard.
Right.
But because the planning application has been approved long ago, there's really not a lot of room left to fight with this.
Right.
If they were still going for variances, we could have some input, not a lot, we're not residents.
Right.
But because they pulled the variance applications, this is almost a done deal. Nobody likes it here. We all know how crowded this town gets. All that's going to do is add to the stress that we already have in town. But, you could see how East Brunswick's mentality goes. We'll stick one on that corner of Spotswood. We'll stick another huge project on that corner of Spotswood. It's right on the corner of their towns.
We got to do something. How are we going to
They
do?
border our town, but,
Finish.
there's not a lot we're going to be able to do about it.
Where's this it? Hey, Charlie, you have to build some kind of a ramp, a high ramp, like an upper ramp, just like the George Washington Bridge. You go down, and you don't get that corner area, the Sun River land, and you got the old state. You want to get involved with that, Summit Hill Road. That's where you-
It would be my projection that 30 years from now, they'll be saying, oh, this is such a successful project, let's tear down the rest of the trees in Frost Woods and build more houses,
Well, I
build
hope that
more
doesn't happen,
apartments.
Charlie.
out of this world. To me, a havoc.
Yeah,
Very
so that's my projection for 30 years from now.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Yeah, hey, Chief. We gotta say his name, Chief. There you go.
Hello there. Borough Fire Chief Kevin Mead.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Here is a copy of
Third time
the
around?
budget we submitted. It's a million time around, I believe, but here's the budget submitted for 2019. While I can speak to you all legally, and you're all here together, because laws forbid that in other ways, please review this. If you have any questions, okay, you can find me very easily. I would really appreciate it if every one of you visited the firehouse, both firehouses. I'd love to give you a tour of where we're at and what we're up to. In here, in a quick overview, we're already a year behind. Nobody to blame. I'm not looking for that, okay? We put in for a new truck last year. It didn't work out. The vehicle won't fit in the firehouse. We submitted proper documentation to take care of that situation prior to ordering a new apparatus, which we are in dire need of. The Main Street Firehouse, we had an architect look at it, and it's like trying to stuff 10 pounds of potatoes into a 3-pound bag. We ran out of room a long time ago in that firehouse. We outgrew that firehouse. It was built in 1960. Obviously, in here, you'll see we're looking for a new firehouse. There's a couple of good ideas. I'm going to throw a couple out here real quick. We looked at across from Ted's on Main Street. There's a vacant house, been there for quite a while. Property started somewhere over $1 million. It's now down into the 300,000 range, somewhere in that ballpark. To renovate our firehouse, as per the architect, is a lost cause. We can only stick in that footprint. We can't go wider. We can't go deeper. We've got wetlands in the back, so on and so forth. It's built out to where it could be, and there's pretty much not a lot more you can do with it. The property on the other side of Main Street down a little bit would be a great location. I'd like the borough to consider that, look into that. I spoke to the mayor about this previously, a few of you, I'm sure. I think Jose's aware of this situation. Ted, I don't know if I spoke to you about it, but John maybe, but
Over the last couple of years, but.
Yeah,
But Mr. Koch has some input on that property, that there's
wetlands there, I know that. Oh, yeah, but wetlands doesn't
allows to be built out.
understand something. Wetlands, and Bruce can concur on this, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't build on the property, okay?
Oh, right.
You can't encroach on it, you can encroach only so much. We don't know exactly what's there. I do know that there's a little bit of wetlands in the back of that property. Not enough, in my opinion. I've seen somebody look at it already. And I don't think that there's that much that'll deter the project. We don't need a gigantic building. We're not looking at the Taj Mahal. We're looking for probably a 4-bay firehouse, double deep bays with an upstairs. Not, like I said, not like some of these Taj Mahals you've seen in the surrounding towns either. Forget that. Yeah, no, there's a couple of them. I'm making no comments, but
The problem with that is, again, this is, I'm in favor of buying that, don't get me wrong. But my wife's a real estate agent with that, and 2 deals have gone down. 2 deals, 3 deals.
2, I believe.
2 deals have gone down the drain because of the property, because of the back of it.
understood. But there's quite a bit of property there, and it's an odd shape. So again, it's all I'm looking for is for the borough to research it, every stone turn over every stone over, see what we got. We need a solution. Some people have said, how come middle of town? We've got volunteers coming from all over town. We thought about years back going to Schweitzer's in that area over there. The guys from Alpen Road and the lake area will never make it. They'll never get through this mess we have at certain times of the day on Main Street. It's bad enough to get where we're at now, but it's doable. Believe it or not, it's doable. I've been doing it for almost 40 years, and it's doable. So staying in that location or that area of town, to us, is a good thing. We just had a door replaced at Station 2 up on Brunswick Avenue. That building is in a lot of disrepair also. The door's been put on. I'm hoping the building stays up now. That door was falling down and wouldn't open, wouldn't close. We had the truck trapped in there, then we had the truck trapped outside, so now it's been replaced, so we can utilize that. A few other updates on the fire department. We now have a water rescue team. We've been training for 5 years, and I'm proud to say that we have a boat, we have 15 members trained for ice and swift water rescue. The county is aware of this. We have water running through this town. Knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of water rescues or emergencies in recent years, but we've had some years ago. But we're ready. We have it. It's something new. So we have a boat, we have a trailer, and the equipment that goes with it. So that's something else that's new to us, new to the town, we haven't had before. Years ago, the boat was handled by our EMS, which was volunteer. They had a lot of volunteers. It went by the wayside, and the program was dropped. 5 years ago, Chief Andren picked up the ball and ran with it, and Chief Genty before me also, and now it's mine, and it's in use. It's there, it's ready, it's working, and it's a good mechanism. God forbid we need it. Just FYI. So I'd appreciate it if you could look at what was submitted carefully. Questions, please visit the firehouse. Come down, I'll show you what we got. Show you the equipment, show you what we're asking for, and hopefully we can move forward from here.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it.
All right?
Yep, thank you, Ken.
Thank you for your
We'll
time.
definitely-
Appreciate it.
We'll definitely look into what you're proposing.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else from the public?
Anybody else? Guess that's it.
Make a motion to close.
Make a motion to close it?
All in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Make a motion to adjourn, too.
All in favor?
Aye.